The elephant refuses to move. Abraha, who came from Abyssinia, a country in Africa, conquered Yemen and was made vice-regent there. Later, he noticed that at a certain time of the year large numbers of people would travel from all over Yemen and the rest of Arabia to Mecca. He asked the reason for this and was told that they were going on pilgrimage to the Kaaba. Abraha hated the idea of Mecca being more important than his own country, so he decided to build a church of colored marble with doors of gold and ornaments of silver and ordered the people to visit it instead of the Kaaba. But no one obeyed him. Abraha became angry and decided to destroy the Kaaba. He prepared a large army led by an elephant and set off towards Mecca. When the Meccans heard that he was coming, they became very frightened. Abraha's army was huge and they could not fight it. But how could they let him destroy the holy Kaaba? They went to ask the advice of their leader Abdul-Muttalib. When Abraha arrived outside Mecca, Abdul-Muttalib went to meet him. Abraha said, "What do you want?" Abraha had taken Abdul-Muttalib's camels, which he had found grazing as he entered Mecca, so Abdul-Muttalib replied, "I want my camels back." Abraha was very surprised and said, "I have come to destroy your holy Kaaba, the holy place of your fathers, and you ask me about some camels?" Abdul-Muttalib replied calmly, "The camels belong to me, the Kaaba belongs to Allah and He will protect it." Then he left Abraha and went back to Quraysh and ordered them to leave Mecca and wait for their enemies in the mountains. In the morning Abraha prepared to enter the town. He put armor on his elephant and drew up his troops for battle. He intended to destroy the Kaaba and then return to Yemen. At that moment, however, the elephant knelt down and refused to get up, no matter how much the soldiers tried to get it to move by beating it. But when they turned its face in the direction of Yemen, it immediately got up and started off. In fact, it did the same in any other direction, but as soon as they pointed it towards Mecca, it knelt down again. Suddenly, flocks of birds appeared from over the sea. Each bird carried 3 stones as small as peas, and they dropped them on Abraha's army. The soldiers suddenly fell ill. Even Abraha was hit by the stones and fled in fear with the rest of his army back to Yemen, where he later died. On seeing their enemy flee, the Arabs came down from the mountains to the Kaaba and gave thanks to Allah. After this, Quraysh gained great respect and became known as the people of Allah, and the year in which these events took place, 570 AD, was named the year of the elephant. In that year Allah had saved the Kaaba, and He would soon bring forth a prophet from among Quraysh. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, hast thou not seen how thy Lord dealt with the owners of the elephant? Did He not bring their stratagem to naught and send against them swarms of flying creatures, which pelted them with stones of baked clay and made them like green crops devoured by cattle? Quran 105.1-5. The Prophet is born. One day, while traveling north, one of the Arab tribes from Mecca met a hermit in the desert. Some of the men stopped to speak with him. Hermits were known to be wise, and the Arabs often asked their advice. The hermit asked where they had come from. When they replied that they were from Mecca, he told them that Allah would soon send a prophet who would come from their people. They asked the name of this prophet, and the hermit answered that his name would be Muhammad and that he would guide them to a new way of life. Meanwhile in Mecca, Amina, although saddened by the loss of her husband, felt especially well and strong as she awaited the birth of her baby. During this time she dreamt of many things. On one occasion it was as if a great light were shining out of her, and on another she heard a voice telling her that she would have a boy and that his name would be Muhammad. She never forgot that voice, but she told no one about it. On Monday, the 12th day of Rabi al-Awwal in the year of the elephant, Amina gave birth to a son. Allah sends man many signs when one of his chosen prophets is born, and on that 12th day of Rabi al-Awwal in the year 570 AD, many such signs were seen. Some were seen by Jewish scholars who had read in their scriptures of a coming prophet. One of these learned men in Yathrib, for instance, saw a brilliant new star he had never seen before as he studied the heavens that night. He called the people around him and, pointing the star out to them, told them a prophet must have been born. That same night another Jew was passing by the meeting place of the leaders of Quraysh in Mecca. He asked them if a baby boy had just been born and told them that if it were true, this would be the prophet of the Arab nation. Amina sent news of the birth to her father-in-law, Abdul Muttalib, who was sitting near the Kaaba at the time. He was very happy and began at once to think of a name for the boy. An ordinary name would not do. 6 days came and went and still he had not decided. But on the 7th day, as he lay asleep near the Kaaba, Abdul Muttalib dreamt that he should give the baby the unusual name of Muhammad, just as Amina herself had dreamt. And the child was called Muhammad, peace be upon him, which means the praised one. When Abdul Muttalib told the leaders of Quraysh what he had named his grandson, many of them asked, "Why did you know? Choose the sort of name that is used by our people?" At once he replied, "I want him to be praised by Allah in the heavens and praised by men on earth."